The border space of the Empire was usually quiet. Long patrol routes, routine scans, and slow reports filled most days. Inside the main command center of station, rows of displays showed the familiar stars and trade lanes. Officers walked between consoles, speaking in low voices and checking sensor lines. Commander stood at the center platform. He watched the glow of the tactical map in front of him. It showed the local region in simple colors. Trade ships were small green dots. Patrol ships were blue. There was nothing unusual. He let out a slow breath. It was going to be another calm shift. He turned to speak with his sensor chief, but before he could say a word, one of the displays flashed bright red. An alarm rang through the command center. The sound cut across every conversation. Officers stopped what they were doing and looked up, narrowed his eyes and stepped forward. "Report," he said. Sensor officers leaned over their consoles. One of them, a young analyst with pale skin and dark scales along his neck, moved his hands quickly over the interface. "New contact," the analyst said. His voice shook a little. "Appeared at Grid 7, Sector 4. No jump signature recorded. It was just not there, and now it is there." Frowned. "No jump signature. That is impossible. Put it on the main display." The center screen shifted. A large object appeared in the middle of the map, marked in bold white. Data lines tried to fill in around it, but the numbers kept flickering and changing as if the computers did not know what they were looking at. More officers began to move closer. The usual calm of the station turned into a low buzz of confused voices. "What is its size?" asked. The sensor analyst swallowed. "Length approximately 1.5 kilometers. Mass reading is unstable. Energy output is high, but sir, the system cannot classify the power source." Felt a cold weight in his chest. 1.5 kilometers. That was far larger than any Imperial cruiser. Only the Empire's largest carriers came close to that length, and even those had clear signatures. "Is it one of ours?" he asked. "Negative," the analyst answered. "No Imperial transponder, no Allied codes. Hull configuration does not match any in our database." On the screen, the unknown vessel slowly rotated. Its hull caught the light of the nearby star. It had sharp angles in some places and smooth curves in others, like a design that had passed through many stages of testing. Along its spine, faint lines glowed with soft blue light. The ship looked calm and steady. It did not drift. It held position with perfect control. "Long-range scan," ordered. "I want to know everything. Composition, weapon ports, shield levels, engine type, everything." "Yes, Commander," the analyst replied. While the station gathered more data, opened a link to the central command hub of the sector. A tall figure appeared on a holographic panel to his right. This was Prefect, the Imperial officer in charge of border defense. "Commander," said, "I see your alarm. Explain." "Unknown warship has appeared inside our border," Prefect said. "No jump trail, no record of entry. It is heavily armed based on early readings. It is not broadcasting any identification." His eyes focused on the tactical display. For a moment he did not speak. "Is it an Empire designed from another region?" he asked. "No, Prefect. It does not match any profile." "Then it is intruding on Imperial space," said. His voice hardened. "Deploy nearest patrol group. Maintain distance but lock weapons. We must send a clear message." Bowed his head. "Understood." He turned back to his officers and began to issue orders. Patrol ships in the area received new coordinates. Engines powered up. Courses adjusted. The command center became a storm of activity. Far from the station, in silent deep space, the unknown warship watched the local traffic and defense grid with calm interest. Inside the human battleship Horizon, Commander Elias Grant stood with his hands behind his back on the main bridge. The forward showed the swirl of stars, the faint lines of distant stations, and the small blue icons of the Empire's patrol ships. Elias had dark hair with a touch of gray at the temples. His face was calm and lined from years of service. His uniform was simple and neat. He did not look excited or afraid. He looked like a man who had seen many dangers and had learned how to stand still in the middle of all of them. "How long since we entered their border?" he asked. His navigation officer, a young woman named Laura Hayes, checked her console. 12 minutes, sir. We are holding steady at the planned coordinates." "Any sign they detected our entry?" Elias asked. Laura gave a small smile. "Oh yes. Their border station went from quiet to very loud about 2 minutes after we arrived. I am reading scrambled transmissions. They are trying to figure out how we got here." At the sensor station, Maya Lewis listened to the flow of intercepted messages. Her light brown hair was tied back in a simple tail. Her eyes were sharp and focused. Small translation icons flickered on her screen as the ship systems converted the alien language into something she could understand. "They are worried," Maya said. "A lot of panic under the surface. The station chief is trying to stay calm, but the lower officers are scared. They have never seen a ship like this." "Any guess what they think we are?" Elias asked. Maya scrolled through the latest transmissions. "Right now they are arguing. Some think we are an experimental ship from one of their own regions. Others think we are a rival power. A few messages mention humans, but they are not sure. They did not expect to see us this deep inside their space." Elias turned his gaze back to the forward screen. The horizon sat in the middle of enemy territory, but the bridge felt steady and quiet. Soft lights illuminated the consoles. There was no sense of rush. They had come here on purpose. "Their nearest patrol ships?" he asked. Laura tapped a few keys. "A squadron of 5 cruisers is changing course toward us. Distance is closing slowly. They are cautious." Elias nodded. "Good, they should be cautious." Behind him, a quiet chime sounded from the command console. Another officer, a communications specialist named Daniel Ward, looked up from his station. "Commander, the Empire station is hailing us," Daniel said. "They are using a broad challenge code. I can route it through the translator." "Do it," Elias said. A moment later, a window appeared on the main display. The scaled face of Commander appeared, slightly distorted by the translation overlay. His eyes were narrow and his posture tense. "Unknown vessel," said. The translator gave his words a flat but clear tone. "You are in the territory of the Empire. You will identify yourself and power down your weapons at once." On the bridge of the horizon, several crew members glanced at Elias. He moved closer to the console but did not raise his voice. "Open a channel," he said quietly. Daniel nodded. "Channel open." "This is Commander Elias Grant of the human battleship Horizon," Elias said. His words were calm and even. "We are operating on a planned route. We have no hostile intent. We will not power down our systems, but we will hold fire as long as we are not attacked." On station, the translation of Elias' words echoed through the command center. Officers exchanged uneasy glances. The word human passed through the room like a cold wind. Felt a spike of confusion. Humans were supposed to be a minor race. Reports from Imperial Science had described them as developing, noisy, and limited to a small region near their home star. They were not supposed to appear inside core Imperial borders with a warship of unknown design. He turned to his sensor chief. "Confirm identity. Is this a human ship?" The analyst worked quickly. "Energy signatures do not match any known Empire pattern. Hull composition is strange, but there are traces that match earlier long-range observations of human vessels. Smaller ones. This is larger, much larger." The prefect's hologram still hovered near the main platform, had heard everything. His jaw tightened. "A human battleship," said slowly. "Inside our border, claiming planned route. How did they reach this deep without passing the outer detection nets?" No one had an answer. Commander said, "You will hold this vessel until I can bring in a heavier force. Keep your patrol group at range. If the human ship makes any hostile move, you will respond with full power." Bowed his head, "Yes, Prefect." The hologram faded, turned his eyes back to the unknown vessel on the main screen. It did not move, it simply waited. On the horizon, Maya listened to the Empire's side of the conversation. "They are bringing more ships," she said. "They are still not sure how we got here. Some of them think we used some kind of hidden gate. Others think we have help from a rival empire. They keep saying we should not be able to move this far without them seeing us." Elias gave a slight nod. "That is the idea," he said. "Our new drive would not be very useful if they could track it." He walked across the bridge and rested one hand on the edge of Maya's console. "Any sign they know we are listening?" he asked. Maya shook her head. "Their encryption is good against their own rivals, not against us. They do not seem to realize how much of their network we can see." "Keep it that way," Elias said. He returned to the center of the bridge and looked around at his crew. These were the people who had volunteered to bring the horizon into enemy space. They knew the risks. They also knew the purpose. "Status of our weapons and shields?" he asked. At the tactical station, an officer named Cole checked his display. "All main batteries on standby, point defense active, shields at full strength. We are ready, sir." "Good," Elias said. "We will not fire first. Make sure every gun captain remembers that. If they fire on us, we answer fast and clean. No waste." Nodded. The minutes passed. The Empire cruisers drew closer, their engine flares growing brighter on the display. On station, the tension rose with each update. Range asked. "Patrol group will be in weapons range in 6 minutes, the analyst said. "Their captains ask for final rules of engagement." Hesitated. He knew what the prefect had said, but he also knew what the scans were telling him. This ship was beyond anything in their records. If they made a mistake, the cost could be high. He gave the official answer anyway. "Tell them they are to demand surrender," he said. "If the human ship refuses, they are to disable its engines and weapons by any means needed." The orders went out. On the horizon, the Empire cruisers were now clearly visible on the forward screen. They were sleek and dark, with long wings that housed heavy guns. They moved in a careful formation, spreading out to try to encircle the human ship. "They are opening a tight beam channel," Daniel said. "Text only, no visual." "Put it on my console," Elias said. He read the translated words as they appeared. "Unknown human vessel. You will power down your drives and weapon systems. You will prepare to be boarded and inspected by Imperial forces. Failure to obey will result in your destruction." Elias let out a slow breath. "Direct," he said. Laura watched him. "How do you want to answer, sir?" He thought for a moment, then he spoke. "Send this," he said. "Human battleship Horizon will not power down in hostile territory. We do not consent to boarding. We will not fire if you keep your distance. If you attack, we will defend ourselves. Suggest you hold position and contact your higher command for new orders." Daniel typed the message and sent it. In the Empire cruisers, the reply caused anger and disbelief. On station, it caused something closer to fear. Could almost feel the mood in the room shift as the human words scrolled across the main screen. "They refuse to comply," the sensor chief said. His throat felt dry. "Any new scan data?" he asked. "Yes, Commander," the analyst said. "Weapon ports confirmed along the length of the hull. Power levels are very high, but output is stable. Shield field is strange. It does not match any known pattern. It looks like several layers woven together." In other words, thought, "We do not know how strong they are." He looked at the single white icon on the display. One ship standing alone in their space, facing 5 cruisers and a whole empire's pride. It did not move. It did not signal fear. He sent one last message to the patrol group. "Final warning to the human vessel," he ordered. "Then fire a volley across its bow. Show them we are serious." The cruisers adjusted their angle. Their guns began to glow. On the horizon, watch the same change. "Weapons charging," he said quietly. "They are going to fire." Ilya straightened. His eyes were steady. "Hold course," he said. "Hold fire, let them make the first mistake." A moment later, beams of bright energy streaked past the horizon's bow. In normal space they would have been beautiful, like lines of colored lightning. Here, they were a warning. The ship rocked slightly as the near-miss shockwaves brushed its shield. The crew felt the faint vibration under their feet. Looked at his commander. "They fired across our bow," he said. "No direct hit." Elias nodded. "Then we still have room to talk." He signaled Daniel. "Send one more message. Tell them this. Any further hostile fire will be treated as an attack. We will respond with precise disabling shots. We will not target escape pods or life support, but we will end the fight fast." Daniel sent the message. On station, the words appeared. The command center was silent for a long moment. Could feel his officers watching him. He could hear the faint hum of the station's life support systems. He could feel the weight of the Empire's border on his shoulders. "This is one ship," he murmured, "just one." But deep inside, he knew it was not just one ship. It was a message. Someone had sent this human battleship into their space to show them something. He did not yet know what that something was. But as the alarms kept flashing and the cruisers drew closer, he had the growing sense that the galaxy he knew was about to change. The 5 Imperial cruisers moved into position around the horizon. Their long dark hulls reflected the light of the nearby star, and their weapons glowed with rising power. Every ship in the formation kept its distance, but the tension was clear. They had fired a warning. Now they waited to see what the human battleship would do. Inside the horizon, the bridge lights stayed steady and calm. The crew felt the pressure of the moment, but they were trained to stay focused. They spoke quietly, checked readings, and waited for Elias to speak. Maya listened to the constant stream of intercepted messages from the cruisers. Her console glowed with translation marks as she read through them. "They are confused," she said. "Some of the cruiser captains think we are bluffing. Others think we are dangerous. They are arguing about whether to fire again or wait for new orders." Kept his eyes on the tactical screen. "Their weapons are still charged," he said. "If they fire a real volley, they will aim to disable us." Elias stepped toward the front of the bridge. His boots made soft sounds on the metal floor. "They will test us," he said calmly. "They have to. Their entire command structure is watching. They cannot let us walk through their space without showing force." Laura turned in her chair. "Do you want to move, sir? We can shift position and make them nervous." Elias shook his head. "No, we stay still. Movement might scare them into shooting." The horizon remained motionless, holding perfect position as if gravity itself obeyed it. On station, the atmosphere was tense. Walked between consoles, checking every report. Officers whispered. Others typed quickly. The main display showed the human ship at the center, surrounded by the cruisers. The prefect appeared again as a hologram. His expression was hard. "Commander said, the Grand Fleet is on the way. Until it arrives, your patrol group must hold the human ship in place." Nodded stiffly. "We have warned them. They refuse to power down. They claim peaceful intent, but their presence here is illegal and unexplained." Narrowed his eyes. "Then show them the Empire is not weak." Hesitated before speaking. "Prefect, our scans cannot identify their shield pattern. Their energy levels are unlike anything in our records. If we strike too hard—" "You worry too much," interrupted. "Fire on them, a controlled strike, force them to surrender." Felt the weight of the order. His officers heard it too. The room fell silent. "As you command," said. He turned to the communications officer. His voice felt heavy. "Send the order. Cruisers will fire a disabling volley." The command went out. In the Imperial cruisers, captains sat stiffly in their command chairs. They knew this was not a simple patrol anymore. Their empire depended on their success. They gave their own orders, and the cruisers shifted slightly to gain better firing angles. In the horizon, Maya lifted her head. "They have made their decision. They are charging to full output. This is real." Straightened at his station. "We will take the first hit, but not the second. Waiting for your word, sir." Elias watched the cruisers carefully. "Let them fire," he said quietly. "We show them that force will not work." Laura looked at him with concern. "Our shields can take it, but they will panic if they see no effect." "That is part of the message," Elias said. The bridge crew tensed as the cruisers fired. 5 bright beams shot forward at once. They flew across the dark space, bending slightly around the pull of the horizon's gravity field. The beams hit the horizon's shields. There was a loud hum through the ship. The lights flickered for a moment, but the shields did not weaken. The energy spread across the shield surface like ripples on water. Checked his display. "Shield stable," he said. "No damage taken. That was their strongest volley." Elias nodded once. "Now we respond." He turned to, "Disable the lead cruiser's weapons, only the weapons, 1 shot, precise." His fingers moved quickly. "Solution ready." "Fire," Elias said. A single bright pulse left the horizon. It crossed space faster than the cruisers could track. It struck the first cruiser along its wing section, right where its heavy guns were mounted. The cruiser spun slightly as all power to its weapons cut out. Alarms echoed inside it. Officers grabbed onto rails as the ship shook from the impact. On the horizon looked up from his display. Weapons disabled, no other systems damaged. Maya read the intercepted messages. "They are shocked. They do not understand how we targeted only the guns. They think we have some advanced sensor grid." Laura gave a small smile. "We do." In the border station, the main display changed as one cruiser lost its weapon systems. Officers gasped and stepped back from the screen. Leaned forward, eyes wide. They disabled it with 1 shot, and without hitting any other part of the ship. Is that possible? The sensor analyst shook his head. "Not with any technology we know." The prefect's hologram flickered as he raised his voice. "What are your cruisers doing? Why are they falling apart?" Clenched his jaw. "They were hit by the human ship, a controlled shot. It did not destroy them, Prefect. It was very precise." Stared in disbelief. "Humans do not have that kind of precision. Their ships were studied. Their weapons are simple. This is not possible." "But it is happening," said quietly. Composed himself and said, "Order the rest of the cruisers to fire everything they have. They must stop that ship." Turned toward the communications officer. He did not want to give that order, but the prefect was watching. The Empire expected obedience. "Send the order," he said. The remaining 4 cruisers increased power to maximum. Their weapons glowed hot with energy. They fired again and again, beams slamming against the horizon's shields. Inside the horizon, the bridge shook harder this time. Lights flickered. Warning lights blinked briefly, then went dark again. "Check the status. Shields at 80%. They are trying their best." Elias looked at him. "Disable the second cruiser. Aim for the engines. Again, no harm to the crew." Fired another pulse. The second cruiser spun out of formation as its engines went offline. The third cruiser fired a massive blast, one that glowed with unstable energy. Elias did not wait. "Disable that one's targeting systems," he said. A precise shot hit the third cruiser. Its targeting screens went black. Its officers panicked as their guns powered down. The fourth cruiser hesitated. Its captain was scared. Maya read his messages. "He is asking for permission to retreat," she said. Elias nodded. Disable his shields. Show him we choose not to destroy him. A soft pulse struck the cruiser. Its shields collapsed, but its hull remained untouched. In less than 2 minutes, 4 Imperial cruisers were disabled, floating helplessly in space. The Horizon did not move. It did not attack further. It simply waited. On station, officers stood silently. The room felt frozen. The prefect's hologram flickered, his face pale with disbelief. "What kind of ship is that?" whispered. Slowly shook his head. "Something beyond anything we expected." The prefect stared at the screen for several long seconds. Then he said, "Hold your position. Do not engage further. The Grand Fleet will arrive soon." He cut the connection. Watched the disabled cruisers float in space. He felt a cold realization settle in his chest. The human ship could have destroyed them. It had chosen not to. Inside the Horizon, the bridge was steady once more. The lights returned to normal. Officers took deep breaths as the pressure eased. Elias walked back to the center of the bridge. "Well done," he said. "Damage report." "Checked, minor strain on the shields. Everything else is intact." "Good," Elias said. "Prepare long-range scans. They are bringing more ships, bigger ones. We need to know what is coming." Maya kept reading messages. "The Empire is in panic mode. They think we might be the first ship of a human invasion fleet." Laura raised an eyebrow. "If only they knew we built this ship to stop wars, not start them." Elias watched the drifting cruisers. "They will not believe that. Fear does not listen to reason." He turned back toward the screen. "Keep shields at full strength," he said. "We will wait for their next move." Hours passed. The disabled cruisers sent distress signals. Rescue ships approached slowly, afraid to come too close to the Horizon. Maya listened. "The Empire High Command is arguing. Some want to negotiate. Some want to destroy us. Others think we are too powerful to fight." Elias nodded. "Typical decisions in a moment like this." Pointed to the screen. "Sir, new contacts, many of them." Laura confirmed it. Detecting large signatures, very large capital ships. On the tactical screen, dozens of red icons jumped into the region. The Grand Fleet had arrived. Maya whispered, "They brought everything." Elias stood tall. "Then we will hold our ground. We will not run. We will not attack. We will let them decide what kind of future they want." As the massive Imperial fleet spread across the stars, the Horizon remained still, shining quietly in the dark. The Empire had shown its strength, and now it had seen humanity. The Grand Fleet of the Empire spread across the stars like a massive wall of metal and power. Dozens of capital ships formed wide arcs. Smaller destroyers and escorts filled the empty spaces between them. Every engine glowed bright. Every weapon port was open. The Empire had arrived prepared for war. In the center of this enormous force, the human battleship Horizon remained still. Its hull reflected the distant starlight. Its blue lines glowed softly, as if the ship was calm and relaxed. It did not move. It did not threaten. It simply existed in the middle of the Empire's greatest fleet. Inside the Horizon, the bridge crew watched the growing number of red icons on their screens. Laura let out a slow breath. "That is a lot of ships." Nodded. "More than 60 capital ships, hundreds of support craft. This is their real strength." Maya kept listening to intercepted messages. Her screen shifted with new lines of translation every second. "They are talking very fast. Their fleet commanders do not agree on what to do with us." Elias stood quietly near the forward display. His arms were behind his back. His face was calm. "Fear makes people argue," he said softly. "They do not understand us. They do not understand how we got here." Daniel checked communications. "They are preparing a wide-frequency message, sir, probably a demand." "Let them speak," Elias said. The Horizon remained still as the Grand Fleet completed its formation. On the largest Imperial flagship, A commander named stood at the center of his bridge. He was tall, with a deep blue crest along his forehead and sharp features that made his expressions look fierce. He opened the fleet-wide channel. "Unknown human vessel," said, "you have crossed into Imperial territory without permission. You have attacked Imperial ships. You have refused to surrender. You will now power down your systems and submit to Imperial control. If you refuse, the Grand Fleet will destroy you. You cannot escape." The message echoed across the bridge of the horizon. Laura looked at Elias. "We should reply." Elias nodded. "Yes, but do not challenge them. We will speak clearly." Daniel opened the channel. Elias' voice was calm and steady. "This is Commander Elias Grant of the human battleship Horizon. We did not come to attack your empire. Your cruisers fired first. We defended ourselves without harming any crews. We ask for peaceful communication. We will not surrender our ship. We will not power down." The message ended. On the Imperial flagship's jaw tightened. "He is calm," said, "too calm." A tactical officer stepped forward. "Commander, their ship took the full fire of 4 cruisers with almost no damage. We have no idea how strong it is." Shook his head. "It is only one ship. We are an empire. We will not be humiliated." He turned to his communications officer. "Order the fleet to prepare a sector-wide pulse strike." The officer hesitated. "Commander, a pulse strike could destroy the disabled cruisers near the human vessel, their crews." "Are acceptable losses," said coldly. The officer lowered his head and sent the command. Back on the horizon, Maya's console beeped. "They are preparing a pulse strike," she said. "It will hit everything in the area. Their own cruisers will be destroyed." Elias' expression hardened. "They are willing to kill their own people to destroy us." Tightened his grip on the tactical controls. "Sir, we can stop the pulse before it launches." Elias nodded. "Yes, but not by firing back. If we disable the flagship, they will panic and fire randomly. We have to show control." Laura leaned closer. "What do we do?" Elias looked at Maya. "Find the pulse generator. Find the exact system they need to fire it." Maya typed quickly. Blue lights flashed across her screen. "Found it. The generator is on the lower section of the flagship. Power lines are exposed. If we send a small targeted interference pulse, we can shut it down without damaging the ship." Elias nodded. "Prepare the pulse. Very low power, only enough to interrupt." "Worked fast. Ready." "Fire," Elias said. A thin line of blue light shot from the horizon. It was so faint it almost disappeared into the darkness. It traveled fast and hit the generator on the flagship. On the Imperial flagship, alarms rang loudly. "Pulse generator offline," an officer shouted. Slammed his fists against the command rail. "What happened?" "Unknown interference," the officer said. "Something targeted the generator, but we cannot trace it. No damage to the hull." Looked shaken for a moment. Then he forced his expression into a hard glare. "Restart the generator." "It will take several minutes," the officer said. Turned his eyes back to the display showing the horizon. "This ship is dangerous," he whispered. "But why are they not attacking?" On the horizon, Maya continued listening. "They are confused again. Some think we saved the cruisers on purpose. Others think we are playing a game." Elias looked toward the distant Grand Fleet. "Open a channel," he said. Daniel nodded. "Channel open." Elias spoke with steady clarity. "Imperial Fleet, we detected your pulse strike charge. That weapon would have destroyed your disabled cruisers. We interrupted it to protect your own crews. We are not your enemy. We will defend ourselves if forced, but we will not harm those who cannot fight." The message spread across all ships of the fleet. On many of the Imperial ships, officers paused. Some lowered their weapons. A few of them looked at the horizon on their screens with confusion instead of anger, but remained furious. He opened a direct channel to on station. Commander said sharply, "You allowed this human ship to humiliate our cruisers. Now they humiliate the Grand Fleet. Explain your failure." Stood straight. His scales glowed faintly from stress, but his voice was steady. "Commander, the human ship is beyond our current understanding. Their movements and technology show clear restraint. If we attack without thought, we could lose more than ships." Hissed in anger, "You speak with fear, not duty. I will not allow the Empire to bow to one ship." Met his gaze. "Perhaps we should understand them before we destroy ourselves. They have not fired on us except to disable. They saved our crews." Snarled and cut the channel. Inside the horizon, Maya watched the conflict unfold. "There is division in their command," she said. "Is trying to calm things, wants to fight." Elias nodded. "We expected this. Empires do not react well to something they cannot control." The bridge stayed quiet for a moment. Then Laura asked softly, "Sir, why did the Council send us here first? Why not send a diplomatic ship?" Elias turned toward her. "Because if the Empire attacked a diplomatic ship, there would be no chance for peace. The horizon can survive long enough to make them think before they act. We are here to force the Empire to look at the reality of humanity today." Looked at the screen showing the huge Imperial fleet. "I think they are looking." Hours passed. The Imperial fleet stayed in formation, but they did not fire again. The disabled cruisers were slowly being towed away by rescue vessels. Some fleet captains sent messages to the flagship, asking for negotiations instead of conflict. Refused every request. On the horizon, Maya read a new transmission. "Someone from their high command wants to speak with us. The name is, she is a senior advisor to their ruling council." Elias nodded. "Accept the message." A voice came through the speakers. The translation was smooth and soft. "I am advisor of the council. Human commander, your presence has shaken our empire. We wish to understand your intentions. Explain why you came to our space." Elias replied, "We came because your empire has been watching Earth for many years without speaking to us. We learned of your silent observation. We came to show you that humans are not weak or unaware. We are ready to talk as equals." There was a long pause. Then said, "And if we refuse equal standing?" Elias answered simply, "Then this moment becomes the beginning of a long conflict you cannot win." Took a long breath. "I will speak to the council. Do not move, do not fire. We will contact you again." Her message ended. Laura whispered, "That sounded hopeful." Maya nodded. "She seems reasonable, not like." Elias stayed silent for a moment. Then he said, "Prepare for anything. People like are dangerous when they feel their power slipping." He was right. Minutes later on the flagship, stood alone in his private chamber. His hands trembled with anger. "One ship," he muttered. "One human ship dares to stand against an empire." He slammed his fist on his desk. "I will not allow it." He opened a private command channel to a group of captains who were loyal to him. "Prepare your weapons," said. "We attack the human vessel now." One captain asked, "But the council?" The council hesitates, snapped, "I act." The captains obeyed. On the horizon, Maya suddenly froze. Her screen lit up with warning signals. "Sir," she said quickly, "a small group of Imperial ships is breaking formation. Their captains are not following fleet orders. They are about to fire." Elias turned sharply. "How many?" "7 ships," Maya said, "all heavy destroyers." His hands moved to the tactical controls. "They are charging main weapons. They will fire in seconds." Elias looked at his crew. "Prepare countermeasures. We disable all 7. No lethal shots." Laura nodded, ready to maneuver. "Confirmed. Solutions locked." Elias raised his hand slightly. "Fire now." 7 bright pulses shot from the horizon. Each one moved with perfect aim. Each shot hit a destroyer exactly where its main energy lines connected to its weapons. One by one, all 7 destroyers lost power. Their guns shut down, their engines flickered, their ships drifted helplessly in space. The horizon had stopped the attack before it began. The entire Grand Fleet watched. On the flagship, stared at the disabled destroyers in horror. His crew watched him with fear. "We cannot win," one officer whispered. Shouted in rage and struck the control panel. Silence. But the truth was clear. One human ship had just defeated every attack without killing anyone. Across the fleet, a quiet understanding spread. The Empire was not facing an enemy. It was facing something new. On the horizon, Elias stood tall. "Hold position," he said. "The Council will speak soon." The bridge crew nodded. The Empire had thrown everything at them. The horizon had answered with control, precision, and calm. Now the Empire had to decide what came next. The stars around the horizon seemed calm, but every ship in the Grand Fleet trembled with tension. The disabled destroyers drifted slowly, their lights flickering as repair crews rushed to help them. The large capital ships held their formation, but the lines were no longer straight. Fear had entered the fleet. Inside the horizon, the bridge stayed quiet. The crew waited for the next move from the Empire. They had disabled cruisers, stopped a massive fleet attack, and protected lives on both sides. But the final answer had not yet come. Elias stood at the center of the bridge with his arms behind his back. His face showed no fear, only patience. Maya watched the incoming messages with focused eyes. "They are talking fast again," she said. "Some fleet captains want to retreat, others want to negotiate. A few still want to attack, but most of them are afraid of us now. Check the tactical screen. The Grand Fleet is strong, but they know we can disable groups of ships with one round of shots. They do not know our limits." Laura nodded. "This is why we came, to show them we can stand as equals." Daniel turned from his station. "Sir, we are receiving a high-level communication. It is from Advisor again." Elias took a breath. "Put it through." A calm voice filled the bridge. "Human Commander Elias Grant, the Council has heard your words. We see that you did not destroy our ships when you had the power. We see that you protected our crews even when attacked. We are prepared to discuss peace." The crew exchanged quiet looks of relief, but the message continued. "But there is a problem. A high-ranking fleet commander speaks against you. He claims you came to weaken our empire and prepare for war. He says your ship is a threat to our future. This commander is." Elias' expression did not change. "We expected resistance." His voice softened. "Has great influence among our military leaders. He is calling for a final strike. He wants the Grand Fleet to attack you with everything they have. We are trying to stop him." Maya shook her head. "Will not accept peace, he wants power." The message ended. Elias looked at the crew. "Prepare for the worst, but we will not be the ones who start the final fight." On the Imperial flagship stood before his officers. His eyes burned with anger. "The Council is weak," he said. "They hesitate, they fear one ship, a single human ship. We are the Empire, we control the stars." His officers shifted uneasily. Some believed him, others looked afraid. Pointed to the horizon on the main screen. "We attack now, not with small groups, not with tests. We strike with full power, every ship will fire. The humans will fall and the Empire will remain strong." One officer stepped forward, shaking but brave. "Commander, the Council ordered us to hold position. If we attack." "Cut him off. If we wait, the Council will surrender power. Is that what you want, to bow to outsiders?" The officer looked down and stepped back. "Opened a fleet-wide channel. All ships loyal to the Empire's true strength, prepare your weapons. Ignore the Council's message. We strike together." The command went out. Hundreds of ships received it. Some captains followed. Some froze in fear. Some refused. This time, the fleet did not move as one. On the horizon, Maya's console lit up with red warnings. "Sir," she said quickly, "a large number of Imperial ships are charging weapons. Not all. Many are resisting, but at least 40 capital ships are preparing to fire." Laura took a deep breath. 40 capital ships. Checked his systems. "We can disable a few at once, but not 40, not without hitting critical systems." Daniel looked at Elias. "Sir, what do we do?" Elias watched the Grand Fleet. The red icons filled half the screen. The horizon was strong but not invincible. He understood the danger. But he also understood the message they had to send. "We do nothing until they attack," Elias said quietly. "We will not strike first. That is our rule." The crew nodded. They trusted him. The tension filled the bridge like a heavy fog. The Imperial ships continued to charge. Lights glowed across their hulls. The space around them shimmered with raw power. Stood tall on his flagship, waiting for the perfect moment. Then appeared on every Imperial screen. Her face was calm but firm. "Imperial fleet, this is advisor. You are to cease all weapon preparations. The Council has not approved this attack, is acting without authority." Cut into the broadcast. His face appeared next to hers. "The humans threaten our future. I act to protect the Empire." Answered, "You act to protect your pride. You risk the destruction of our people." Snarled, "Enough." He gave a final command. "Fire on the human vessel, now." Some ships fired immediately. Others refused. The sky filled with bright lines of energy. Elias raised his hand. "Brace." The horizon shook as the first volley hit its shields. Blue light rippled across the surface. The ship held firm, but the impact was stronger than anything before. Check the readings. Shields at 60%, they hit hard. Another volley came. The horizon shook again. "Shields at 40%, said. Laura turned sharply. "Sir, we cannot take many more." Elias nodded. "Then we disable them, all power to precision batteries." His hands flew across the panels. "Targeting ready." Elias spoke calmly. "Fire, disable every ship that fired on us. Do not hit those that held back." The horizon's guns lit up with soft blue light. Then a wave of blue pulses shot out in perfect arcs. They moved fast. They moved with impossible accuracy. They struck 40 ships in less than 10 seconds. Each shot hit a different point. Weapons, engines, shield generators, control nodes. None hit living spaces. The Grand Fleet lit up with flashes as systems shut down one after another. A massive silence followed. Then messages flooded through Maya's console. "Sir," she said, her voice almost a whisper, "the entire attack group is disabled, all of them. His flagship lost shields and engines. He cannot move." Leaned back in disbelief. "We did it, we stopped them." On the Imperial flagship, stared at his dead console. His ship floated helplessly in space. His officers watched him with silent judgment. He had lost. His voice then filled the fleet. "All ships stand down. The Council now speaks." Every Imperial screen changed. A round chamber appeared with members of the ruling council. Their voices were firm and united. "This conflict is over," the council declared. "The human ship has shown restraint. They protected our people even when we attacked them. We respect strength, but we honor wisdom. Commander Elias Grant, we invite you to speak with us for peaceful resolution. The Empire will not fire again." On the horizon, quiet relief filled the bridge. Maya smiled. "They want peace." Laura let out a breath she had been holding. "Finally." Nodded. "We survived the worst the Empire could send." Elias finally let his shoulders relax. "Open a channel," he said softly. Daniel nodded. "Channel ready." Elias spoke with steady respect. "Council of the Empire, humanity accepts your invitation. We seek peace. We seek understanding. We came here to show that Earth stands strong, not to start a war. The council answered, "Then come forward, human commander. Let this be the start of something new between our peoples." Elias turned to the crew. "Prepare for diplomatic approach. We have done our part." The horizon moved slowly forward for the first time since entering Imperial space. The Grand Fleet opened a path. Thousands of Imperial officers watched in silence as the human battleship glided through them. Some watched with fear, some with respect, some with awe. The horizon shined softly in the dark. Humanity had stepped into the Empire's heart. And the Empire finally understood that humanity was no longer a small voice in the galaxy. They were a power that stood firm. A power that chose peace even when facing war. As the horizon approached the Imperial capital, Elias looked out across the stars. "This is only the beginning," he said. The crew nodded. They knew the galaxy had changed, and humanity had taken its place among the great powers.